and gentlemen, welcome to episode 53 of Petey's Awesome Guest Panel, and what a legendary star we have here tonight. She's not just a Power Ranger legend, but she's also a Fox Kids legend. She's best known for her work on Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue as Kelsey Winslow. My guest at this time is Miss Sasha Craig. Sasha, how are you? Welcome today.
Hey, Petey, I'm doing great. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
It's a total honor.
Wait, thanks for having me on.
It's a total honor, and I'm feeling fantastical now, and I have a true, like a legendary name like yourself on.
Wow, that's
total honor.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I do have a question before we get into Power Ranger questions, Sasha. I'm gonna ask the typical cliche question: is how did you get started into acting? Take me there.
Okay. Well, a friend of mine asked me to. They thought I would go to like it was a cattle call for Sunset Beach, I think, and I met Bobino Casting in San Francisco. And that's where I started. I met him and he was like, why don't you audition for this other thing? And I ended up auditioning for Flubber with Robin Williams. And I worked on set for 3 weeks as like, I don't know, like it was like an upgraded extra kind of thing as a cheerleader on the show. And so I did that and I kind of got the bug, like just working on set and being part of that family, being part of that kind of crew, and like the relationships and the friendships that like they happen so quickly and deeply. I kind of fell in love with it and I moved to Los Angeles like 2 weeks later. So I packed up my car and threw my beanbag on the roof and yeah, drove to LA. Yeah, and then, you know, I slowly did extra work. I did acting classes and I became a courier, like delivering scripts and photos and stuff for agencies. And I met my manager that way. Like he's like, it was like totally random. I walked into my office and he was, he had another client auditioning for Power Rangers. And he's like, do you want to be a Power Ranger? And I was like, yeah. And I gave him my headshot, which, you know, all actors have on them at all times. And I went into audition the next day for Power Rangers. I read lines with him and then I went in the next day and they asked me to come back. That was like a Friday. They asked me to come back on Monday with like more form-fitting clothes, like so they could see like your body type and stuff. And I did that, and then that evening I found out I got the job. It was like a really like crazy rushed like great experience. Like it was very lucky and it was exciting. It was really a lot of fun.
That's incredible, Sasha. Now, were you a fan of the Power Rangers series prior to getting your role?
I hadn't seen it, but I'd seen like, you know, it was a huge franchise. I mean, every kid like at Halloween was wearing Power Rangers, you know, their outfits and costumes. It was definitely an honor to be picked to be part of the team. So yeah, and then I got to meet all kinds of Rangers afterward, like post, you know, where there was what am I trying to think of? There was a campaign. What was it? And I ended up meeting the original Rangers on this campaign. It was the No Hate campaign. Did you see that?
I did, yes.
Yeah, the No Hate campaign. So I got to meet a lot of the original Rangers on that. And that was kind of really cool.
So cool.
Really cool. Real cool. Do you know Karen, right? Of course you know.
Karen Ashley?
Karen Ashley. Yeah, I met her and she was doing radio at the time. Like she was interviewing and she was just really outgoing and super friendly. Everybody was really friendly. I met also Billy. And I know
David Yoss.
Joss. So I met him there. And it was it was just a really cool experience to see and meet people from the beginning of the genre.
So cool. And before we talk about the episodes, the questions related to the episodes that were Kelsey themed, I just want to talk a little bit about Kelsey and how cool of a character she is, though. Like, she's such a free-spirited, extreme sport-loving person, though. I mean, she's like the if she was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, she would be Michelangelo. That's how laid back and free-spirited she is, though.
Yeah, that was kind of fun to like, that's a really fun character to play for sure. I think I was really grateful to play a strong female role, in Hollywood. I really, really appreciated that. And it was a lot of fun. So yeah, she was strong, outgoing, she was like a character I'd like to be like, because sometimes I think I get shy and like, she's not shy. She's like straight, she fights for her friends. She's really outgoing and she's lovable character. So it was really fun to play.
I agree. And I wanted to ask you this too, are the interests of Kelsey's interests, which is extreme sports, mountain climbing, are they akin to your real life hobbies or no?
At the time, because this was 20 years ago, definitely. I was working, Yoshi, in the beginning wanted me to skateboard. He's like, how are you with a skateboard? And he had the skateboard he was playing. I'm like, He's like, how about rollerblades? I'm like, I can rollerblade. We can do that. That'll be okay. And then I did do rock climbing in high school and in college. And or snowboarding, but they never, I was like, please have Kelsey snowboard. That would be amazing. But they didn't do that. But yeah, I definitely liked outdoor activities. That's where, when I'm doing stuff with my friends, as opposed to just chatting or eating, I like to do activities. I think you can.
You're very active.
Yeah.
And by the way, after binge watching the entire Lightspeed Rescue thing, I can honestly say that you are a uber rollerblader. I will say that. You were really good at rollerblading.
I was all right. I was okay. It was a lot of fun. I did have a stunt woman from the X Games come in and do one of the stunts. I don't know if you know that, Petey. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Right? Yeah. So we had, and I'm dying because I was trying to look her up through IMDb to find who she was and like remember her name. Super sweet. Like, she did the stunt where you went under the semi truck, right? Do you remember that when she saved?
When you saved the dog, Dorsey.
When we saved the dog, yeah, she did that. Yeah, and actually all the stunt people were just really, really amazing on the show because they don't want us to get hurt. I mean, we did do a lot of our own stunts. The first day on the show was rock climbing up off of New Holland in Los Angeles. And I had a stunt woman at the time who was going to climb. And I was like, really, like, I was like, I'm a good rock climber. I can climb better than her. A little bit of an ego, right? And Yoshi said, okay, well, let's have a contest. Like, and he set up 2 ropes and we had a climbing contest and I beat her and they let me do that scene. But when it came to like sliding under moving semi trucks and jumping over cars, we had this wonderful woman from the X Games come in and do that because that was a big thing. Like, in 99, 2000 was rollerblading was in the X Games at the time, so that was kind of cool.
That was I was actually going to ask you that too. Like, what, like, were those like real mountains? You like, I mean, in the show, like they had you actually climb in like real mountains, right?
Yeah, some of it was real and some of it wasn't, and they melded them together to make a good scene on the show.
Because I always wondered as a kid though, like like how did they shoot that scene though? It was incredible how they shoot that scene from like the point of view where it's all the way in the back and you see her and see Kelsey climbing the mountain, especially from that high distance.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's pretty cool.
That and also like what you just mentioned too, when you rescued Nancy's dog Dorsey, like with rollerblading when it was about to get hit by the car, like going underneath the truck was just an incredible scene. Like how that was shot was just like incredible.
Oh yeah, it was really fun to do. I mean, and watch other people do it. So it was.
Now, what were your memories on shooting the very first episode of Lightspeed Rescue, which was Operation Lightspeed?
Operation Lightspeed was the very first episode on Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. And like I said, one of my favorite memories of that were that my first day of work, climbing in Mulholland and climbing up and rock climbing. My second day of work was jumping or rappelling out of a 2-story building with a little baby. They have it, I think, in the open.
I remember that.
Right? So I was, like I said, I'm a super active person. I was just stoked that I was getting paid to do this. It was like, I'm getting paid to have fun. And then watching the real stunt guys, there was a burning building that they were shooting, or to make it look like a burning building, and they had a wrestling mat, right? And there was like 6 guys holding this wrestling mat, and one of the stuntmen, I think it's supposed to be Carter, jumps out of the window and they catch him like on this wrestling mat, like daredevil crazy stuntmen like on this show, with which was just amazing to watch. Yeah.
Sweet. And I do want to ask you, because I thought this was a very cool car, and that is memories of driving in the Rescue Rover.
I know, we all wanted to drive that, right? Because it was a Humvee, right?
Mhm.
The yellow Humvee Rescue Rover. I think I got to drive it a couple of times.
You drove it in Ocean Blue.
Yeah, we're very excited to drive it. Now, can I remember how it felt, or I can't remember how it felt or what it was like, but it looked good, I guess.
It's a cool car. I really liked it. I thought it was a really cool truck.
Yeah.
I do want to ask also too, your memories of doing the, of course, the scene where you all meet for the first time and having that meeting in the very same episode, and of course driving. And I always wanted this too as a kid though, like when the Rescue Rover is driving in that tube, like underwater in the Aqua Bay, like how did they shoot that scene?
Okay, so they have a mini aqua base, right? And I don't know how I'm not a special effects like whiz kid, but I do know they had a huge mini aqua base set that they could shoot and make that look, and then pull into special effects.
Oh,
I'm just an actor, Petey. I don't know the behind, like the special stuff. So yeah.
Can I ask you too? Were there any funny behind the scenes stories you can share while filming Lightspeed Rescue?
Behind the scenes stories were, we love to have handstand contests. Like I love to have handstand contests with my chat. That was fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I used to sing a lot on set, and then add whatever we were doing into a line. If that, I used to sing a lot on set. I mean, funny behind the scenes, just messing around and trying to make each other laugh. I don't know. Trying to think. Allison took me out for my birthday when we were working over at El Torito, which was fun. Allison, Rhett, and Sean lived in Santa Clarita, right? Because the show was shot in Santa Clarita. It was union. It was a union show at the time. What other? And I lived all the way back in Hollywood. Mike lived in Laurel Canyon, and Keith I'm not sure, but I know Keith and I and Mike had to commute every day and do the long commute into Santa Clarita. I always had the first call time. I was the fastest to go through makeup because all they had to do was put me in a ponytail. And like, she's so active, she didn't really have that was her character. Sitting in the chair and joking with the makeup ladies was pretty cool. Like, there's so many other things. Like, we had Dwayne Barr was our camera operator, right? He's Dolly. So he's the guy who pushes the camera, and he was a real sweetheart to work with on set. If you thought you flubbed something, like, you could like give him a look and he'd be like, oh, I made a bump on the dolly. I think I need to redo that again, instead of like having to ask for a retake or something. Everybody was really, really great. It was a wonderful family that I got to be a part of.
Awesome. And especially, like, you know, of course, I want to mention too, of course, working with the gentleman that played Captain Mitchell, Rob Rugg.
Ron
Rugg?
Ron Roger.
Ron Roger, pardon me.
Yeah, he's amazing. He was a very giving actor. Lovely to work with. It's so funny because I thought you said red rum. And I was thinking, because he used to do all these crazy haunted houses. That was like his thing. Like at Halloween, like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, he created these huge haunted houses, and he's doing really well. He's one of the actors, I think, that's doing really well, constantly working now.
It's awesome. How about working? I'm sorry?
I said, yeah.
How about working with one of the main villains on the show, and that is Jennifer Viper Yen?
Yes, she was lovely to work with. I saw her a few years ago. I walked into a party and she was there, and we were like, oh, we gotta get together. But now I live in Canada, and we have kids that are the same age. Actually, she has a lovely daughter, and she has a lovely makeup line that she created for sensitive skin, because she had such a hard time with the makeup that they were using on Power Rangers. It wasn't jiving with her skin. So afterwards, she went and made her own makeup line for sensitive skin. And like, it's boom. She's like in Allure magazine. She's everywhere. So she's done really, really well with that. Also, a fun fact was there was another actress that was supposed to play Vipra. And I guess they shot like some stuff, but she just wasn't jiving. I don't know if she was like, I don't think she liked the show or what was going on, and it wasn't jiving. And so they ended up hiring Jen, and it was a great choice because she's so much fun. And she has that laugh, like that evil villain laugh, which is so funny. But yeah, her outfit was amazing. Those wings and like the bra bust, and gosh, and like the tight leather pants. She was a great villain. Yeah.
It was. And even like when you guys came back, we're gonna talk about this later too, when we came back for Time Force for the team up for that one, she was very intimidating and scary looking when she came back from the dead, Vipra. Like, I thought that was one of the most intimidating seasons in Power Rangers history, when she rose from the dead. Rose.
Yeah, you're just all of a sudden reminding me of another episode. I have a hard time remembering the episodes, but I think we were all like zombies in one episode. We were all like dark and looked like we were coming back from the dead, which is always fun to play, right? Always fun to play the bad
guy. Was that the same episode too, where all of you except for, I believe, Carter or Allison, that got amnesia when they fought that monster memo race?
Oh, I can't remember.
Oh,
I can't.
okay.
Yeah.
I know we talked about this episode earlier though because it was such a good episode and it was a Kelsey theme episode. But Right in the Edge is the one your memories of shooting the episode Right in the Edge, which is the one where she saves the dog Dorsey and then she meets that woman named Nancy, and of course she says, "You're crazy, but I'm glad you are." And you're like, "Crazy is my middle name."
Right. So what just happened just now? The Zoom like stopped and then you sped up.
Oh.
So let me just, I don't know if you want to ask it again or if it
Oh yeah,
worked.
sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Right in the Edge, it was a Kelsey theme episode where you save a dog Dorsey that belonged to a woman named Nancy, and then she goes, "You're crazy, but I'm glad you are." And you're like, "Crazy is my middle name."
Yeah. I mean, she got to play an astronaut, right? How cool is
Yep.
that? Yeah.
You
Yeah.
actually saved her in that episode when you came up with a plan to have her shuttle land on the Has Rescue 4.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That was a very fun episode. That was again, our lovely X Game actress came into play on that episode, screaming underneath a semi truck and jumping over a car. So yeah, that was fun.
So sweet. And
Really cool. Yeah.
another good episode I loved your performance in because I thought you were just phenomenal, like your acting prowess, and you had such style and finesse in this episode, and that is Up to the Challenge, where let me see if it was yeah, Up to the Challenge. It was another Kelsey theme episode where because of her overexcited and cool personality, that she got injured in an explosion. But it didn't let the explosion didn't let her get her down though, because she refused to like lay down in bed, and she ripped off the head bandage, put her jacket back on because she wasn't refusing to give up.
That's right. I know. What a great, I mean, and Mrs. Mayweather helped me, like, I think she gave me, I can't remember. She gave me the keys, like, because I pull off the bandage and she gives me the keys to, is that when I drive the Humvee? I can't remember. But yeah, I remember that. And then being in the hospital. Oh, and the death scene, which was so, oh, not the death scene. God, that would be horrible. But the scene where I fall unconscious, right?
Yes.
That's in Chad's arms, right? And so yeah, that was pretty funny. I look back at that and I giggle every time because we I didn't take any acting classes before I did Power Rangers. And so I would be like, so you want me to die? Okay. It's like that thing where you're like, so how do we just like, instead of like, I took classes afterwards and like, you get method and you think of like substitutions in your head and what would happen and what that would be like and who would you say goodbye to. But when I was doing Power Rangers, it was just kind of like, okay, I don't know. It was kind of fun and like a child doing make believe, you know what I mean, with no inhibitions kind of thing, which is super fun. I was really lucky. Yeah.
But you were incredible in that episode too. I mean, especially delivery on everything though. I remember there was a conversation between Kelsey and Chad, and it was pretty much like, he says something about like Kelsey not being calm, and it's like, and you go, "What do you mean I'm not calm?" And he's like, "Well, you're awesome, you're adventurous, but you get a little bit overexcited." And then you go, "I'll show you overexcited," and that's when you two play fight.
Exactly. I know. I love working with Mike. He's the best. He was just such a grounded soul. You know what I mean? Really lovely to work with.
And if there was a connect, like a friendship, like like storyline purpose, like telling, like between all the Rangers, I think the most strongest relationship they had was Chad and Kelsey, because Kelsey was there for him a lot of times, especially when he had a crush on the mermaid Marina, and she was there to comfort him many times. Like she was there to defend him with his sensei in one episode, which by the way I loved when you went like this to the sensei. That was funny. Yeah, I don't think there was a stronger bond or dynamic like on that show. I mean, I don't really count it because it's not Ranger and Ranger, like, but Joel and Miss Fairweather is a dynamic, but another dynamic between the Rangers, I don't think there was a stronger one than Chad and Kelsey.
I think that's really sweet. I think I don't know. I think the sister brother between Rhett and Allison was pretty strong too, but I appreciate that. That's really sweet. Yeah, it was a really what was I gonna say? Yeah, it was awesome. Sorry.
No worries. That
I would say it was awesome for 5 out of 10 of your questions. I hope you don't mind. It was awesome.
not at all. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Now, is it? Did you really take that tennis ball to the head at the end of the episode?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I also, do you remember yeah. I fell face first into the mud too for the episode Glitz Girl with Allison. Remember,
I
she's
remember.
pulling up the rope or she's holding the rope. I'm supposed to be climbing and she gets a phone call and she drops it. And I'm like, boof. Yeah.
I remember because you
Yeah.
in that
So-
episode. I'm sorry.
Go on.
No, I was gonna say I remember because I remember immediately when you got up, you're like, "You dropped me to save your hair."
Yeah. Really? Really?
Seriously?
Girl? Yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
It was awesome. And then also at the end of that episode, though, up to the challenge, I remember you're like, you know what? I'm gonna teach you, Chad. I'm gonna teach you how to talk to girls.
When I talk to girls, you say no, 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 no.
So
Yeah.
funny. And then yeah, that was a great episode. Another episode I do want to talk about, and this is a huge episode. I think this really, gave a character background to Kelsey, and that is the fifth crystal, where we got to see Kelsey's grandmother, who's a very wealthy woman, and you not only realize she's a wealthy woman, but her and her granddaughter have a strained relationship. And of course, I wanted to ask you your memories of shooting this episode and working with Shannon Wells.
I definitely have a lot of great memories for that episode. I remember having to cry for the first time on film. So that was kind of interesting. Like, I remember you were talking about the photographs. You were going to mention the photographs?
Yeah, was that you that portrayed the younger version of her grandma?
That was me. And they actually shot that in black and white and they did my hair in like a period piece to look like her. So that was really cool too. Yeah. And then in the very end, we got grandma on rollerblades, right? We went skating with grandma on the very end of that episode. So yeah, she was fantastic.
That was awesome, and especially at the end, though, I couldn't think. I mean, such a beautiful reconciliation between a grandmother and granddaughter when she said, "I came to save the most precious thing I have, my granddaughter."
Yeah, buddy.
That was beautiful.
Thanks, man. Thanks for coming back.
I felt really bad, like, because Kelsey's a really cool, laid-back, fun-loving character, and to see her cry like this was really like upsetting. And not just, I'm not saying this as a fan, but I'm saying to like other people that watch the show too. Like, I've had friends that are fans of the show too that said they felt really bad for Kelsey in that scene when her grandmother scolded her.
Oh yeah, well, these are life things that happen in real life. I think you could actually empathize with that situation. When you're not loved for who you are and people aren't listening to you or feeling you and you just want to be seen. So I think people really know how that feels. So
Yeah, and the irony about that, episode too, is that Kelsey gets all of her extreme sport loving, passion from her grandmother. She inherited that.
Right.
So it's weird to see them have a strained relationship.
Yeah, it's just she just cared about her money. She got like really wrapped up in what that meant to her, I guess, and she realized that money without love, I mean, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, I agree, and especially I loved when Carter came to Kelsey's defense, and he goes, there's one thing money doesn't have, and that's something you don't have either, heart.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really, sorry.
It's so true.
Of course, I did want to ask your memories, of course, on filming the episode "The Great Egg Caper," where the episode starts out with, of course, you rollerblading, and then you watch a thief steal fruit from the marketplace, and you chase after him. Memories of shooting this episode and working with that particular actor.
Okay, so that happened in Long Beach. We shot down by the seaside down there, and I remember that we actually dressed up in different disguises, right? I dressed up in prosthetics. I went into like 3 hours. It's the longest I've ever been in makeup, and they made me into an old lady. So I remember that, and remember looking into the mirror going, holy cow, this is scary. Am I really going to look like this when I get older? And then, I'll be lucky to look like this when be lucky to live this long. So, yeah, I loved there was like a lot of great space to rollerblade. And, yeah, I remember, I remember like people do get hurt on the show, like from time to time. You're doing stunts. And I remember one of the team, the guys got hurt on that show. And I was like, whoa, it's always intense when somebody's doing a stunt, and it's also exhilarating and amazing to watch. And they try and be as safe as possible. But I think during that show, someone fell off of a moving car. But I don't think it made it into the show. But I remember that from that show. Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
Like as far as like filming the episode though, but it's unfortunate that people get hurt though.
Yeah. I think we all like it's just, I think, part of the job. It's like, well, you watch like the gymnasts and gymnastics. They say gymnastics is 100% injury sport. You're twisting an ankle, you're hurting, you're going to hurt parts of your body, and you're going to recover. And that's a whole science in quick recovery, right? I ended up getting a concussion on Power Rangers running. I was in this race with Keith, and it was like a timed course that they were doing.
It was a training exercise, right?
Yeah, training exercise. And they have this plastic like finish line, and they forgot to tape it down. So, it was plastic, it was plastic on the asphalt. So it slid, like when you got like your weight on it, it kept going. Whoosh. So I slid right underneath the Humvee. I kept going, right? And it hit the back of my head. And I was fine. I was just kind of like woozy, but they're very on it, like taking care of you. They're like, okay, you look like you might have a concussion. Let's, get you checked out. They took me to the hospital, and then I was fine. But they're very, very safety oriented. So that was cool. Like I said, it's when you're doing stunts and you're working out your body at such a high level, you're going to get hurt. But there's also, they also take care of you very well and show you how to recover in the best way possible. So, yeah. I know Allison broke her leg during the show. You know about that.
I didn't know about that.
You know that, Petey?
I didn't know about that.
Holy cow. Yeah, Allison broke her leg in the show. I think she was working out with the stunt crew. And those foam pits with like foam squares, and people do flips into them at like the gymnastics place, right? She went in and there wasn't enough foam, and she like broke her leg into like 5 different places. And yeah, so that was really, that's something she's had to, that was really, really insane and difficult. So, but she came back as soon as possible to the show, and they had another stunt person, doing her walking and stuff like that on the show. But yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Wow.
But it was amazing. And she's like super strong, and she came back to work and filmed the rest of the show. So it was amazing.
That's incredible, like inspiring too.
Yeah, she's really inspiring, actually. We still chat and talk, and she's lovely. She actually got me to go to a few Comic-Cons. She was like, come on, it'll be fun. And I was like, yeah, okay, because I get nervous, but it was so much fun. It was like great girl time. So she's a really lovely, lovely person.
I'd like to have her one day on the show. Hopefully one day I can make that happen.
Yeah. She loves her fans. She's like, she's the one who talked me into, like I said, doing Comic-Cons and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Very cool. And I do want to get your memories of shooting the episode in the limelight. We just mentioned Allison, but this is the episode where we got to see Dana and Kelsey have some kind of friction because she let fame and fortune get to her head, Allison, when she got the job of being a top model for Glitz Girl. And of course, I remember this scene too. It's like Chad goes, "Wow, Dana sure became popular. I can't believe it." And then you're like, "Me neither." And while drawing a goatee on the picture and drawing like beer glasses.
Yeah, real, like it's real stuff, right? And you're like, we're not perfect characters. We're like, we're not angels. We get jealous and angry and put out. And, I think that's because she missed her friend too, because her, she was off doing other stuff and she didn't have time for me anymore. So it's just like, bleh.
I agree.
Yeah.
I remember at the end of the episode too, when Coco Cashmere, the woman that hired Dana, and they
You were the new Glitz Girl. Yes.
you're like, no way.
No, that's okay. Yeah. Next.
Reaction was priceless though, and of course, I do want to get your memory as well on filming the final episode of Lightspeed Rescue, which was The Fate of Lightspeed, the two-parter episode.
Wow, yeah, that was pretty cool. Okay, so another fun fact is Scott Page Pactor, who runs ADR and sound, behind the scenes sound, taught us all how to scuba dive. I know, right? So that was a really great bonding experience. We all learned to scuba dive. We did some beach dives and we went out to Catalina and we did deep sea dives. And I think we did it. I mean, I think a couple of other rangers, other teams have done it too with him. He's a scuba diving master. I think he also did it because if I remember correctly, Mike scuba dives in the show, I think, because of Marina, because of the mermaid love interest. So yes. I think he's scuba diving in the show. Yes, he is. I'll just say he is scuba diving in the show. And so he did it, and then we all learned to do it. And then, so where we shot that was in the Olympic pool in Long Beach. And I don't know if it's still there. I think it was there for the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. And it was a huge pool, and we shot the underwater scenes in there. And where we were swimming to get away when the aqua base blew up when we were trying to get to safety. So that was cool. And they were night shoots. And I remember that they had warm showers for us to go into afterward. And it was also sad because we knew our time together was coming to an end. So it wasn't very hard to like be sad in that show that the aqua base was blowing up and things were coming to an end, because in real life, our show, our season was coming to an end. So I think we all became very close, and it was sad that we weren't going to see each other every single day.
I don't blame you at all. In fact, I was really upset when Lightspeed Rescue ended though, because that was a season with a lot of heart though. Like when you think about all the seasons of Power Rangers though, I think this one had like a lot of heart though, because look how many scenes that you had. Like of course, Marina and Chad, and then you had those moments where, like family moments with Kelsey and her grandmother. That's why I said it's like, it really is like like all heart though, like I thought Lightspeed was, but that's just what I saw. Just watch, binge watch, and again, I can't believe the amount of heart and how much passion and love there is in Lightspeed Rescue.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I want to binge watch it. I'd binge watch it with you, Pete. I should have binge watched
Would
it
you
with
like me
you.
to mail you the DVD?
What? Thank you. Thanks. Where do we get it online though? Do you
I
know?
got mine. I got mine on Amazon.
On Amazon? But I mean, it used to be on Netflix, and then
Yes.
it came off of Netflix. But it would be great if there was a streaming service that still had it. That'd be fun.
I wish so too. I wish Paramount. I wish Hulu. I wish they all like just streamed it though. It would have been really cool.
All of them, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like every season. And I just want to say too about that last episode you filmed though. I thought it was like a really cool ending though. I mean, at first it looks like everyone's gonna return back to normalcy and have a normal life, but then you see a fire engine go by, you see a dark thing in the distance, and then you're like, even though you realize Diabolical and his demons are no longer a serious issue anymore, that's not stopping you guys from protecting the world and resuming your duties, just in a different level though. Whether it's saving people's life in reality, whether it's a fireman, police person, in general.
Yeah, I know. I've gotten a lot of I mean, it's quite amazing. I've gotten a lot of policemen, firemen, um, Marines, or people in the armed forces who watched Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue and said that's what made them like want to be a helper in their community. And it's like really amazing. It's a quite touching, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
And now I want to ask you too, because you are no stranger to crossover episodes. You were part of two. You were part of the Lost Galaxy and Lightspeed Rescue, as well as the Lightspeed Rescue Time Force one. So I just wanted to get your memories on shooting these two respective episodes for your season. I believe it was Chikina's Revenge, part 1 and 2, and then for the Time Force one, it was I think it was called Time for Lightspeed. So your memories of shooting these episodes and your thoughts about crossover episodes in general.
I mean, they're great, aren't they? It's so fun to see like different seasons come together and their relationships. It was a lot of fun. I had a blast. We did Time for Time Force. We shot in Oxnard. I remember in like a building in Oxnard, and we dressed up as firefighters. I think I have this image of us dressed up as firefighters with Archie and the rest of the crew. Again, we had a couple more handstand. I have a photograph of me and some of the actors actually doing handstands in our firefighter outfits. So that's what I'm remembering. Yeah, it was a great opportunity to meet Serena and Archie and all of the different cast members. Serena's actually especially wonderful. Have you ever interviewed her? She's lovely. Yeah, she's wonderful.
Wait, who?
Serena Vincent?
Oh no, I didn't get to interview her yet. Should
Yeah,
go.
she's amazing. You love her. She has a podcast called Raising Amazing that she does because she has a little boy, and she's just trying to find the best ways to raise her child, and she talks to psychologists and she talks to nutritionists and she talks to all kinds of people, and she's just a lovely person inside and out. I saw her when she was pregnant at Comic-Con, or not Comic-Con, but Power Rangers Morphicon, and she whispered in my ear, she's like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, what? It's like getting all teary because I'm like, that's so great. Because, well, you have a nephew, right? That's coming into this world like pretty soon.
Either we don't know if it's a niece or nephew.
Oh, that's right, because it's a gender reveal that's coming up soon,
Yes.
right? Yeah, but like it's like life starting all over again. It's precious, it's new, and it's just like it's amazing. So it was kind of cool, like to see all the other Rangers actually becoming mommies and daddies. actually Chad was a dad while we were shooting. He had Talon, who actually does tons of stunts now. I think he's been working on The Mandalorian and other shows. But Talon, I have a picture of me holding little baby Talon when he was little. So we have like
Aw.
Power Rangers babies, which are kind of amazing.
Aw.
Yeah.
Now, what about your time filming with the Time Force cast, which was Jason Font, Aaron Cahill,
Yeah.
Ernie
So they
Wells?
and Michael Coppola, right? Um, they were the season that came after us, and um, lovely. It's always they were like so into like picking our brains about what it was like and what how it was going to be like, and they just I mean their season soared. Their season is absolutely amazing. Um, and it's lovely to see each one of them how well they've been doing. uh Erin is doing all kinds of, she's actually shooting her own film. She just wrapped up shooting her own film, and watching her on uh all the Hallmark shows and stuff. And then Jason Font, he sent me a voicemail a few months ago, and it was so great to hear his voice. He's such a go-getter and like lively, and I love watching him on my Instagram feed. So I can't really remember shooting the episode. I think if I was to be honest, I was probably sad, like grateful and sad, grateful to come back and shoot with them, but sad that, you know, our time was over, but also happy that the franchise was in great hands, you know, good hands with great actors. So they're lovely people.
Awesome. I remember the ending of that episode too, where like each of the respective teams gave their jackets to the new team, and then the new team gave their police uniform to the Lightspeed Rescue gang.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's cool. Yeah, we also think that was the first episode I actually had to hold a gun in, and I was nervous because I'm like, I'm not like a gun person, and we had to hold one. I was like, okay.
You
But
mean this gun and like what I have in the picture right there?
yes, that one. I think that was the first episode. I know I look like I know how to hold it, but I was also like, oh, kids and guns, and I get nervous, you know. But yeah,
Did you also, sorry?
no, nothing.
Did you also know too, Sasha, that this is a fun fact too, that Sean C.W. Johnson actually did voice work for Time Force for one of the monsters on the show.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's. I haven't talked to. I got an email from him about a year ago, but I haven't talked to him. I know he's still working. His family's in the business. His wife is an amazing writer. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all. Actually, he had a really good relationship with Scott Page Pactor, and Scott actually called me in for another voiceover job that I can't remember the name of, because he used to work at Mattel. You know that, but this was before he worked at Mattel. Like he did a lot of voiceover producing. It was some kind of some anime show, and I can't remember what it was, but I probably did Walla Walla or something for that show. Yeah, yeah.
And I also found this out too, though, and I didn't know about this until I did a little bit more research. But Valerie Vernon, who was the Lost Galaxy Pink Ranger, actually did like Sean did a voice for a monster in Lightspeed Rescue, which I did not know about.
Yeah. Oh, I have another fun fact for you.
Sure.
I made friends with the lead singer of ZZ Top, Billy F. Gibbons, and I had him come in on the show and do a monster voice.
Oh,
And it didn't, like, something happened with like agent, like his agent or something. I can't remember what happened, but I don't think it ever happened. It didn't like go, but I brought him into ADR to meet Scott and like all the musicians that excuse me, that were there, and that was kind of fun. But yeah, he came in and tried his hand at a monster voice, but I think his agent was like, no, we want a little bit more cash. And Power Rangers, it was very, I mean, this was the first year it went union, and it just didn't have any cash to give. I think they shot every episode for $100,000 at that time, which is amazing, right? Like a tight budget, you know? Uh,
Wow.
yeah.
And I do have a couple more questions before we conclude. So, of course, when I'm not on a strict diet, though, I am a huge foodie. And of course, Power Rangers was a big production. So I was just wondering what the catering was for your respective season, Lightspeed Rescue. And did you have a favorite meal in catering?
Okay, so I was literally a starving actress, just super budget. And when we got onto Power Rangers, they give you 3 full meals a day, right? Breakfast, lunch, and sometimes dinner, depending on how late we're shooting. And they would have like full-on roast beef, like mashed potatoes. They'd have like home cooked food. And I remember not Chad, but Mike, like he would get like the leftovers and bring them home, and like he was super like smart and knew how to ask for things that he wanted and stuff. He's like, yeah, so he would be like coming home with leftovers for the family, like so he maybe wouldn't have to cook that night, because you could imagine having a family working 12 to 14-hour days. You're trying to do everything you can. But he also, talking about foodie, taught me how to make pesto, which, yeah, he went over, he was like, it's really easy. And he's such a like a good teacher, because he'd be like, Sash, because I was kind of messy, a little bit ADD, forgetting stuff. And he'd be like, Sash, he goes, you have to clean up while you're cooking. That way it doesn't become like a huge mess. And I was like, oh. But he was like, the basil, the pine nuts, and what is it? Olive oil. I can't remember now. But yeah, he was teaching me how to make pesto at his house. He also took us over to his gym, or to the gym, and helped us work on tricks and stuff like that, because he was like #1 in the world in weapons. I'm not going to remember the specific martial arts. I want to say wushu, but I could be wrong with that one. But yeah, amazing time. Great food. Healthy Rangers on good food.
I understand. And of course, I do want to get your favorite scene or line of Kelsey Winslow.
Well, of course, it's, crazy is my middle name, Yeah, I think that's your line.
And I think I know, I'm pretty sure, I think I know which is your favorite episode that you filmed, but let me hear it though. Let me see if it's what I'm thinking about.
The favorite episode that I filmed?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it was the episode where come on, it's the episode where Mike, there's like this bully who comes up to Mike, and I'm like, he's like can kick your butt any day of the week. I'm sure that's not the line. And I'm like, come on, Mike, show him. And like, I know, help me Pete, I can't remember, but I think that was my favorite line. And then in the end, we were in San Pedro at this beautiful Japanese pergola, or I'm not sure what it's called, where we did the Tai Chi at the end of the show. Oh, that's at the beginning of the show, where he's teaching me how to be calm. Yes. Because the character needs some help being calm, and she gets overexcited and gets herself into trouble. That's the episode we were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah, up to the challenge.
Up to the challenge, yeah. I think that's my favorite. Or one of my favorite episodes. It's so hard to choose because all of them have a little bit of something.
How about top 3?
Top 3?
I know they're all great, but if you had to say your top 3, what would they be?
I don't know. Maybe the last one. That was pretty cool. I loved swimming. Maybe the first one also, just because we were like so active and creating and meeting each other. I don't know. What was your favorite, Petey?
I loved Up to the Challenge. I loved the Fifth Crystal because so much character development in that episode for Kelsey.
Yeah,
Um, it's just there was like you said, there were so many great ones. So like I love the crossover episode between Lost Galaxy and Lightspeed Rescue because it's always
yeah,
fun to see the Rangers from previous seasons team up. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, as far as favorite like lines though, like I think first of all, let me just say this, Mrs. Gregg, that you are like one of the most funniest actresses I've ever seen. Though, I mean, you could take the phone book and read it and make it entertaining.
That was my son, by the way. I was like,
Oh.
don't do it. Thank
Like,
you.
so charismatic though. You could take the phone book, read it, and make it entertaining. Like acting prowess, you definitely excel at.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm gonna try that tonight. Maybe I'll read to my son the phone book and help him go to sleep.
Uh, my favorite line too, like I mean, there's so many of them, but I definitely like the one where like crazy is my middle name. That's one of them. I loved where you go. Uh, what was it? It was a funny line too. Like it's like what was that up? Oh, it was like, is this what you meant by being overexcited? And then you passed out.
I pass out.
Uh,
I'm gonna do this because Colin. 1 second. There's a
sure, no problem.
drawing emergency, and my son needs paper, like stats.
Sure, no problem.
You know, a drawing coloring emergency. I don't know if you have those. Maybe as a uncle, you might
Oh,
understand.
I do.
Okay. Here. Sorry about that.
No, don't worry, Sasha. Now,
Yeah.
before we conclude too, I just want to share some fun facts about Lightspeed Rescue that makes it different from other seasons, though. First of all, your season is the first season that's completely independent from previous seasons, and by that I mean it didn't have any connection to the Zordon era whatsoever, with the exception of the Lost Galaxy team up. Not only that, but your season's the first for the following: not to feature the Alpha robot that's in every season prior to this. Your season also has the Rangers credited by their full names as opposed to their first names. Um, and all of the Zords and weapons are man-made. They weren't like made from a mystical origin. First, it was the first time where all the Rangers are established with their with their jobs, and it actually coincides with being part of Team Lightspeed. Not only that, but also their identities were more in the public, so everyone knew who they were, as opposed to different seasons where like the Rangers' identity was kept a secret.
Right. I
Uh,
know.
and there's one more too. Let me see which one it says. Oh yeah, it was the first before Time Force, before SPD. Lightspeed Rescue was the first season of Power Rangers to be run by a military or public service organization.
Yeah. This is all true. This is crazy.
And your season had so much heart though, and I will say this to Sasha. I wish that most friends, I wish, because Kelsey is the kind of friend you want to have, the one that's so laid back, friendly, comforts you, like, and that actually is a good friend to all. Like people will say, man, I wish I could have a friend like Kelsey Winslow.
Aw. Now we're friends, so it's cool, right?
Absolutely. And I want to say too that that's what I loved about the Kelsey Winslow character though, is how, like, she's so laid back, she's so fun loving, energetic, she's happy go lucky. I mean, it's hard to find Rangers like that though. Most of them are just too serious minded. This one's like, yeah, I'm a hero, but you know what, I kind of have a personality too.
Yeah, well, thank you to Judd, with the writer of the show. I mean, he wrote these wonderful characters. I think they would look at who we are in casting and create characters that weren't that far off from who we were. I mean, even though Kelsey, I think, is a lot more outgoing than I am. She's not as like nervous as I sometimes can be. So she was a really fun character to play. I really, really was lucky.
Sasha, you're an awesome person though, and I will say, without hesitation, that you are a Power Ranger legend. I mean, I grew up watching you when I was that little lad, eating Lunchables.
Lad, wee lad.
and I just have two final questions. First of all, like that beach, I always wondered this as a kid. Was that beach a set or was it an actual beach that you guys used to go to?
The beach we used to go to. Okay, so I remember going to Paradise Cove. Are you talking about like where we played on the beach and we went surfing
Yes.
and stuff like that? That was at Paradise Cove in Malibu.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's where it was.
Oh, okay. And I wondered this too, because even though they never, picked up on it though, but do you think that there was some kind of like, like they hinted towards like, a romantic, relationship between Chad and Kelsey? And I ask that because in the last part of Lightspeed Rescue, where like Kelsey goes, she's scared, and then Chad goes, we're scared, at least we're scared together, and then they share an emotional hug. That's why I was wondering, do you think there was a storyline purpose where like the two characters were hinted at some kind of like romantic relationship towards each other?
No, I think they were just good friends, really good friends. I don't think Kelsey was like, I don't know, she wasn't like into that, or maybe she wasn't ready for that kind of stuff yet, or she was just into her career maybe. But I think like even if it was another girl or whatever, you would have said the same thing, right? You would have been like, at least we're in it together. Like, you're good friends. Like, at least we have this history of helping each other out. At least, at least we have each other and we're going to figure it out. Yeah.
Cool. And
Yeah.
and of course, Sasha, because my show is an open forum, this is the part where like I allow all my guests, they can talk about anything they like. They can say anything they like. The floor is yours, Mrs. Craig.
Oh, wow. Um, let's see. Help me.
It's open forum. You can say anything you like.
I have two children. I have a 7-year-old, Colin, who's a lovely young lad, and I have a 15-year-old, Noah, and I have been raising them with my husband, Eli. We moved to Canada about 3 years ago. We lived in Los Angeles. I've been living, before that, I lived there for about 20 some years. When I did Power Rangers, I I had been living in LA since 97. So I'd lived there for about 2.5 years or so. Or can I add? No, yeah, that's 2.5 because it started in 99, 2 years before it started. When I did Power Rangers, it was the most money I'd ever made up to that point in my life. So that was kind of amazing. I didn't get my first paycheck for Power Rangers until 2 days before Christmas. And then I went on a shopping spree and I bought my like dad like something and I bought my mom something. It was like really fun to have money for the first time, and like it wasn't like huge, but it was fun to be able to do that. So, and it was a rush too. I was like, I have 2 days before Christmas. I still have like a reoccurring nightmare that it's like the night before Christmas and I haven't done anything or gotten anybody like anything. Like it's a lot of pressure, I feel. Like I find Christmas to be a lot of pressure. Let's see. What else can I?
No limits.
Okay.
You want.
Trying to think. Trying to think. I have a suit, Power Ranger suit. I bought it. I don't have it yet. I've been waiting for it for a very long time. And I'm hoping that it will be done soon. So that's a spoiler. That's only on the Petey show. Nobody else knows that I bought that. So that's kind of fun. I married into a very famous like actors' family. My husband's mom is Sally Field. Um, it's pretty amazing to watch her and see what she's done and see the strong female characters that she's built. And so that's another fun fact. Let's see here, what else? I like more back and forth, Petey. This is awkward. uh, anything else?
Hmm.
I don't know. Do you have anything else?
I was gonna say too, like that, can't like, I can't thank you enough for doing the show. Like I've been a fan of yours since I was 10. I'm 31. It's like that. It's not to make a movie reference here, but it's like 13 going on 30, except it's more like 10 going on 31, except I'm not Jennifer Gardner. And the fact that, that I try to pay tribute to all my guest stars in any way. I want to pay tribute in so many ways. Like a genie that gives 3 wishes, Sasha, I wanted to pay tribute in 3 different ways. This background's one of them. I'm wearing not exactly the same that you have though, but I noticed that you used to wear the yellow shirt and the black and red jacket. I don't have that same jacket, so I'm wearing a red jacket with a yellow shirt. Got your DVD, of course. Had to, do that. Yeah, and also if I was at that Morphicon, like if I was at a Lightspeed Morphicon, the first thing I would say though, and I shared the story with I shared it with Vernon Wells, I shared it with Latham Gaines, I shared it with Kat Brown, who was on the show, and I believe I shared it with Justin Nimmo. But if I was at that Morphicon panel, the Lightspeed Rescue one, the first thing I would say would be, first off, before I ask my question, everyone, let me just say thank you for not only appearing on the panel, but thank you for those childhood memories you gave me watching Lightspeed Rescue as a young boy in 2000. I was there for all those moments. I was there when Kelsey reconciled with her grandmother. I was there when Dana and Ryan reconciled and became a happy brother and sister combo. I was there when Chad found a love interest in a mermaid named Marina.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were part of the cast pretty much, right?
I was part of like watching every single day as that, entertaining like fan that just loved Lightspeed Rescue.
Well, thank you so much for watching. I mean, if it wasn't for fans like you, we wouldn't have been able to have the amazing experiences that we had on the show. It was so wonderful, and I was so lucky to be part of Power Rangers family. So I really appreciate you having me on the show, Petey. Thank you for reaching out to me. And I'm so excited for you to become an uncle. And you're going to have to tell me what your little one, if it's going to be a boy or a girl, either way, totally amazing.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna let you know ASAP too. And I'm at the risk of giving so many thank yous though. Like, Sasha, like first of all, thank you for, not only, coming on the show because it was a total honor. I mean, you're making me feel like that 10-year-old boy again watching Lightspeed Rescue. Thank you for the interview. Like, thank you for those memories you gave me growing up. As that young boy watching Lightspeed Rescue. And also, not to sound like the Golden Girls, but thank you for being a friend.
Thank you for being a friend.
Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. I do want to also say this too because I feel like you deserve something like this though, and that is thank you, Sasha. Thank you, Sasha. Thank you, Sasha.
Petey, you're amazing. Thank you.
You are Mrs. Craig, and I'm gonna send you a copy of this interview as soon as I'm done editing it, when I put the intro music. And of course, again, total honor. I mean, you are the best, Mrs. Craig.
What? Amazing. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you. And
I'm honored. I'm honored to be on your show, Petey. Thank you.
I'm honored to have you, though. I mean, your Kelsey character was such, inspiring though, like how she was so outspoken. I mean, when I was younger, like I was like a Ranger Smith serious type guy in a Yogi Bear cartoon, but then seeing like a personality like Kelsey's is really inspiring. She's outgoing, laid back.
We have a lovely show and I love watching, and those headlights of yours are just like beautiful. You and your lovely girlfriend, is it your girlfriend? Right? I love watching. I follow you on Instagram, and you're
Likewise.
just beautiful people, just beautiful, kind, wonderful people. And thank you again for having me on. And are you excited to go to Disneyland?
Yes, I am. Let's say like, the excitement I'm gonna have for Disneyland is the same exact excitement I had having you on the show, because it's the level of excitement is through the roof.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. The music and the fireworks and the last time I went to Disneyland, it was me and my youngest son like crying because we're like, do we have to go? It's so much fun. I'm so excited for you. It's gonna
Thank
be
you.
amazing. Yeah.
And also, like, definitely want to give a shout out to your family too. I mean, your husband Eli, of course, your mother-in-law Sally Field, which I loved her role. Like, I saw her in one episode of one of my favorite shows, King of the Hill, where she was really good in an episode. It was called Halloween, and she played a pastor that was protesting Halloween, and I thought she was really good in that episode.
Oh my gosh, she's so prolific. I don't think I've seen everything she's done. Like, I'm totally gonna look that up. That sounds awesome. Yeah. Yeah, she has a new show coming on too, that she's shooting. It's the Untitled Lakers show, which is amazing. She's working all the time, like the busiest grandmother I know. Seriously, it's pretty amazing to watch. And then Eli is a writer director. He directed what did he do? He directed Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which is a cult classic. And he put me in the beginning of it, or I was in the beginning of that, and I get killed right away. Yeah, I know. I'd like to say that he loves me, but when you kill your wife in a movie, no, just kidding. I'd also like to say that she's not definitely dead. She could come back because she was just unconscious. But no, it was a pleasure being part of that show also.
Very cool. And much like Sally Field, who is a legendary actress, you're a legend as well, though, Mrs. Craig. I mean, you're a Power Ranger legend, and you're an acting legend. Like, if people were to tell me, how would you describe Sasha Craig in 3 words, I would say the following: charismatic, incredibly talented, and of course, legendary. Legendary is a name.
You are too kind.
Thank
You
you.
were too kind. I would say the same about you. Charismatic, outgoing, lovely person, organized. I mean, I could go on.
Likewise, though, too, like, definitely such a fun doing this show, Sasha. I really mean that. It was incredible. Like, thank you again. Like,
No
most
problem.
seriousness, you are awesome, and I'm very honored and proud to call you my friend.
I don't know if my head's gonna be able to fit out the door here because you just blown me up. I'm like, I'm gonna have to get like a pin and thank you though. I appreciate it.
Very honored to, like, and I'm very honored that to call you a friend, though. Like, I mean, it's so cool. Thanks again.
Well, thank you for having me on Petey's awesome guest panel.
Well, you are awesome. Not to channel my inner Chad, but you are awesome.
Well, thank you.
Thanks again, Sasha.
Okay, lovely to be on your show, Petey. Until next time, okay?
Until next time, I'd love to have you on. Hopefully one day I could do a Lightspeed Rescue reunion, if it's
Oh my God,
possible.
that would be amazing.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Gregg.
Okay, love. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.